I do not hear you since I have cinnamon rolls in my ears. Hola a todos, yo soy Samuel. Para los que no me conocen, estoy aprendiendo español y hoy vamos a hablar sobre Duolingo. Or more specifically, how to get more out of Duolingo. But first,
una taza de café.
Hot coffee in the middle of summer? Absolutely. Pause. Before we jump into the video, I would just like to state that I have used Duolingo every day for the last 1,872 days. And I've learned that there's this misconception out there that if you do Duolingo, you will become fluent in Spanish. And unfortunately, that's just not true. However, in today's video, we're going to discuss 2 things that you should add to your Duolingo routine that will get you to fluency faster. All right, back to it. So when someone decides they want to learn Spanish, they'll download Duolingo, and it's got a nice language tree. It's a friendly, clean user interface experience. They might figure, 15 minutes a day on this app, I'll finish all the lessons in about 3 months, and then I will be a native level fluent Spanish speaker. If that's your expectation, you're gonna have a bad time. The truth is, Duolingo is a great tool to get somebody from absolute beginner to almost intermediate, I would say. The problem is most people don't make it to the end of the lesson tree because they get so hung up on silly example sentences like, I do not hear you since I have cinnamon rolls in my ears. To be fair, you're never gonna say that. Remember, most of the lessons that you're doing on Duolingo is to teach you sentence structure and vocabulary, and they're just trying to make it as engaging and fun as it can be to give you that weird imagery of cinnamon rolls in your ears. But if you're getting hung up on stuff like this, I strongly recommend checking out Duolingo stories. For Spanish learners, there's a ton of them, and they are clear, concise, and much more engaging than the actual lessons. But the best part is you're going to be learning and utilizing Spanish that's actually useful in real life scenarios. And next time you're utilizing the language and speaking with a native speaker, you're going to be much better equipped to handle your conversation. And then arguably the biggest problem with Duolingo that I think they're handling very well is once you complete all the lessons, there's no magical switch that flips in your brain where all of a sudden you can just fluently understand spoken Spanish. And the only way around that is to increase listening comprehension, and the stories will help with that. And it's good if you do the stories a few times, the questions that they ask do change, and it's good to listen to them without reading along, and it really trains your ear. But if you're learning Spanish and you have not checked out the Duolingo podcast, you really should. The Duolingo podcast is honestly incredible. They've got a whole library of true stories told by native speakers that are about 20 minutes long. Perfect if you're going on a walk, if you're in the gym, if you're driving to work or school. But the reason they're doing so well with these is because a native speaker will recount a story for 30 to 60 seconds, and then an English narrator will interject, not to translate what you just heard, but to keep the story moving, and in case there was something that you missed, some small details and you're not sure if they were important or not, the English-speaking narrator kind of keeps you on the line and guides you along for 5 to 10 to 15 seconds before the native speaker will come back in and finish the story. It's also educational without you really knowing it, because the English-speaking narrator will give you little factoids about the specific accent. If it's an Argentinian accent, they don't really say me llamo Samuel, they'll say me llamo Samuel, more of a J sound. Different slang or regional terms or phrases, she'll mention to clean those up a bit. And I honestly believe that if you're struggling in intermediate purgatory, as I call it, that plateau where you know too much to just continually do gamified apps and language learning programs, but you don't know enough to go out and speak and listen to native speakers in real time, to get over that hump, you should be listening to the Duolingo podcast. Worst case scenario, they're 20 minutes long. If you listen to it and you hate it, comment below, it was the worst story you ever heard, and hey, I'll give you your money back. That was my attempt at a joke, because it's a free podcast. The whole, Duolingo's free. That was the joke. No. So don't let Duolingo fool you into thinking that doing 15 minutes or so of lessons a day will take you to native level fluency. But if you do insist on using Duolingo as one of your resources to learn Spanish, I highly recommend adding a story or two and a Duolingo podcast into your daily routine, and you will see incredible gains in your Spanish abilities. Do me a favor, comment below the silliest sentence that Duolingo tried to teach you. And if you have a general interest in learning Spanish, be sure to subscribe, because I post a new video every week.